All right, let's go to sell high. Who wants to start? Anybody want to start?
I only got two, and they're both
Stefon
running
Diggs.
backs.
Stefon Diggs for
That's a good one.
Jamie. Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
Look, he had 6 catches. He scored 2 touchdowns. He was right in the same target range as Nico Collins and Tank Dell, which is probably going to be something similar on a week-to-week basis. As we said Sunday night in the wrap-up show, there's probably going to be 2 guys that are productive each week and 1 guy that gets left out. If Diggs did not score the 2 touchdowns, it would have been a very poor stat line for him. So, given his age and how he tailed off last year and the fact that there's 2 other talented players on the roster, if you could turn Diggs into any of the receivers who were drafted ahead of him, whether you are so inclined to, whoever you're so inclined to target, so if you're a London, Olave, Harrison, fan, and you can turn Diggs into one of those guys, I suggest doing so.
Who wants to guess the ADOTs for the Texans wide receivers in week 1?
I know his was 1.5 yards.
But I saw a really good point from Matt Harmon on Twitter about this. Half of his targets happened inside the 10-yard line. It's hard. 3 of his 6 targets were inside the 10. It's very difficult to have a big ADOT when the field's only 10 yards long when you're getting targeted.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so Stefon Diggs coming off the 2 touchdown game, and Heath, how about you? Who you selling high on?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I would sell high if you can on Joe Mixon, who was the number 2 running back with 33 touches. The 28-year-old back with that much work, you got to get a lot, but I think he's probably going to be close to like RB 12 to 15 rest of the season. Rhamondre going against maybe the worst tackling team in the NFL. Basically, what they look like in week 1. I don't think that we're probably going to have a lot of Patriots games with a positive game script.
Yeah.
And
oh my guy.
and then I've got to sell high, but Xavier Worthy was wide receiver 12 on 3 touches. 3 touches is not a great sign, especially considering Marquise Brown is coming back.
Right. So even if he were to start getting a few more touches each week, Brown will come back and could keep that number under 5, let's say.
Okay.
I think those are all good calls. And let's just remind everybody out there, sell high doesn't mean we think this guy's going to suck the rest of the way.
Right.
It means that you've got the opportunity to try and turn them into better players for your team moving forward.
I think Rhamondre has just a horrible schedule coming up.
Very much so, yes.
Seattle could be okay. At the Jets, at San Francisco, Miami, Houston. After that, that's like I think I have him in 1 league, and it was great. I liked him in week 1. I kept pointing out it seemed like a good matchup. Cincinnati, bad run defense last year, lost DJ Reader, and it was
he fit the new scheme very well.
He did. He still didn't have a run longer than I think 16 yards. He doesn't really do breakaway runs. He's fine. He's not a bad player. I like Rhamondre Stevenson, but this is I think strike when the iron's hot because
it's absolutely great call. I do think though, whenever they're going to face a team that's not going to blow them out. I don't think Seattle's going to blow them out. Then he's going to be good.
He had a 17-yard run. So congratulations to Rhamondre on a 2-year it's his 2nd run of more than 15 yards in 2 years.
This got a comment from the chat. Only one I don't agree with is Mixon. I'm kind of I'd rather just hold on to Mixon. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 unquestioned running back. He can't have this many touches. That was insane. Also, just your thoughts on Dameon Pierce as a handcuff, because I just he was so bad last year, so bad in the preseason that if Mixon got hurt, I'm not even sure how good he'd be.
Would it be him or would it be Akers?
Right. Would you even make it a priority to have one of those guys if you roster?
No. I think the thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, like you said, you're selling him for something special. Like you got to get a lot for him is what you said. So there's an opportunity for a few fantasy managers. It's not going to be across the board. But if the Christian McCaffrey manager goes 0-2 and you're sitting on Mixon coming off 2 straight weeks or Rhamondre coming off 2 straight positive weeks, then you might be able to turn Mixon and something into McCaffrey or Stevenson and something into McCaffrey. You could see those trades happening.
Yep.
Rappaport, by the way, saying that McCaffrey is unlikely to play this week against the Vikings. So would you trade Joe Mixon for Marvin Harrison?
If I had the running back depth for it, absolutely.
I am going to.
It's a wild.
I think, yeah, Mixon's higher on the trade chart than Harrison right now.
Can I trade him
You
for
weren't
Chris
drafting
Olave
that
instead?
2 weeks ago.
I
Yeah,
know, but
you can hit
that
it.
was then. This is now.
All right. Any other sell highs you want to talk about, or shall we move on?
I got two more.
Okay.
Aaron Jones and Jerome Ford. Don't expect much for Ford, but eventually he's not going to be the only guy in that backfield for Cleveland. And he was pretty bad until very late in the game.
But I'm not going to sell him if I can't get very much.
Of course, like that's the whole point of selling.
But you said don't
high, is you're
expect
not-
much for him. Like,
I'm not telling you that he's going to be terrible.
I need to
Use
get a
him while you
must-start player to
can.
trade him.
No, but if you can,
So,
maybe
Dave, would you sell Jerome Ford to get Chase Brown?
No, I'd rather have Ford right now. But I think that in time, Brown could be better. But for now, it's Ford.
Well, I mean, everybody, I think understands that in time that's going to be the case. If you're
What
selling
would
him, you
you-
got to sell him now. And I think, like Keith's point, he just had 18 total touches in a game where they got destroyed. Like, if they're beating Jacksonville, which is would not be a surprise, like 20 total touches for the Browns running back, you'd sign up for that all day long.
Here's one. Would you trade him for? Would you trade Jerome Ford for DeAndre Swift?
Yeah.
No.
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 Okay.